What's going on, guys? Johnny on the track back with another video. And today I'm doing something different. And I really don't know what made me think of it. I think maybe just because NASCAR is coming back soon. Clash is on Sunday night. Daytona 500 is in just under, what, 18 days now, something like that. Maybe 3 weeks, 3 weeks. And so I don't know. It just made me think of the betting content that's coming back soon for this channel, and how this channel is kind of revolutionized from originally we just did a podcast, and we did like one a week, and we interviewed somebody in the motorsports realm. Then we did a lot of general motorsports content, which I still put out and still make. And then we really got into the betting realm a couple of years ago now, and that's kind of what this channel has revolutionized into and kind of been built on moving forward. We've had great success. We've won a lot. We've also lost. I mean, everybody loses, but we've won a lot, and it's been really cool. And I feel like the community we built and NASCAR betting in general continues to grow, which I think is important. So with that, I kind of wanted to make a video, especially since, like I said, Clash is Sunday night, and new people might be watching us and joining in on the adventure in the 2024 season to bet with us. So I wanted to give kind of just an insight on NASCAR betting, what it is, how it works, the different ways you can bet on NASCAR. And then kind of our go-to bets and how we win and how we kind of look at the betting landscape each week. So maybe it'll be helpful. Maybe nobody watch it. I don't really care. I do think it'll be insightful for people that are looking for a fun sport to watch as the NFL ends, and just kind of get into, and there's plenty of ways to get into sports. Obviously, maybe you play it. Maybe you're interested in it. Maybe you're watching with a friend. But honestly, a way now is like, if it's something to bet on, people start to watch and get into it, which I think is good. I mean, that's a positive influence that the betting community and all facets has had on sports. So I think that's good. So with that, I'll kind of stop talking about the prelude, if you will, and get right into it. So I'm going to start with kind of the easiest main ways you can bet on NASCAR. And it's funny, I was talking to a buddy of mine, and he knows I watch NASCAR. He knows I bet on it, but he didn't really know much about it and how it works. And the reason that I love betting on NASCAR, as well as I love the sport. I enjoy the sport prior to me betting on it. But just, I mean, the odds are crazy, right? I mean, like the favorite for the Daytona 500, to put this into perspective, is plus 1,000. You just don't get that in a lot of sports. Golf is maybe the only other sport where, the odds for somebody to win are long shot odds. So we've hit a plus 2,000. We've hit plenty of plus 1,000s and more. And so when you tell people that, they're like, whoa, that's crazy. It's like a parlay, basic odds of a parlay just for money lines. And that's why it's enjoyable. That's why it's fun to bet. You can make the big money. You can win the big ones. So with that, we'll start with money lines. It starts with the driver, right? Just betting on the drivers. Like I said, the favorite right now for the Daytona 500, that's Brad Keselowski. He's plus 1,000. And then it goes, all the way to, I believe, plus like 10,000. Some of these guys are, which again, makes it fun, makes it interesting. Plus 1,000, $100 bet wins you $1,000. That's for the favorite. That's crazy. That's mostly what I give out. And the way I do it is I look at 4 drivers, usually anywhere from 3 to 5, I would say, of drivers, and sprinkle money around. And if you're watching this channel and you continue to watch us week in and week out, I'll rank the drivers. So that way, if you don't want to bet on all 4, you don't have to. You can bet the ones that I feel most confident and comfortable in. So yeah, I mean, if you want to bet two, right, you would bet the one that my most confident and my second most confident, which I'll give out and I'll rank them. And yeah, that's kind of how I do it. That way, you can sprinkle your money around, and you're still, if you do it correctly, you're always going to net a good amount of money. So for instance, maybe you look at a plus 700 guy, maybe you look at two plus 1200s, and then you sprinkle a little bit on maybe a plus 6,000 guy, which can absolutely happen on certain days and certain tracks. And that way, like you put $5, $10 on that plus 6,000 bet. If it hits, you win quite a bit of money. And it's small bets. My motto in super speedways, so Daytona, Talladega, bet small to win big, because the odds are so crazy. They're in the bettor's favor. So money lines, team bet, so you can bet on the winning team. NASCAR has teams: Hendrick Motorsports, Joe Gibbs Racing. You can bet on the team that will win the race. Manufacturers is another way to do it. So Toyota, Chevy, and Ford are the three manufacturers we have in NASCAR. And I'm saying, like, we have in NASCAR. I don't know who's watching this. You could be somebody that's never watched NASCAR in your life. So I'm trying to give you insight into the betting, and then as well as the sport. So yeah, Toyota, Chevy, Ford. Usually all those are around I don't know, like plus 150. So that's kind of like basically a pick 'em. Those bets are. But again, you do your research, you listen here. We usually talk about what manufacturers will be the best at certain tracks. And that all just comes from data and analytics and what we've seen throughout the season, as a lot of the tracks are shaped the same, and are the same size, maybe have similar banking, maybe use similar rules packages. So there's a lot to it. But we get into that each week on the channel. So drivers, teams, manufacturers are the main money line bets. Then we've got props, top fives, top tens, and top threes. We give those out on this channel. If I'm like confident in a driver, but sometimes I'm like, I don't really see him winning, but I think he'll run well, I'll give a top five. I'll give a top 10 out. Which are also fun. Usually a top 10 for an upper echelon guy is right around minus 150, right around that number. Maybe can get all the way up to like minus 300, but usually minus 150. And sometimes there's those pick 'em lines, plus 150, plus 200 for some guys that are right on the cusp that could absolutely do it. And then top five, top three, obviously the odds get a little tougher for the better to hit on. Then you have groups, driver groups. So basically there'll be bets where they'll give you 4 or 5 names, and you just have to pick the driver that finishes the best in that group of drivers. I'm going to skip that one for now. Then you've got car numbers. So you could bet on an even or odd. That's kind of like a heads or tails coin toss bet in the Super Bowl. So even, odd. Then you can do certain thresholds. So you could bet between 1 to 9, maybe 10 to 19. And you can, bet on if that number falls in there. If that number were to hit and win, you would obviously win. Then we've got exacta bets and quinella bets, which are, I believe they have those in horse racing. I don't bet much on horse racing, but exacta bets, which I don't really talk about. Sometimes I'll say like, hey, maybe you want to put these guys in an exacta or quinella. I don't really bring that up much. But it's basically, an exacta would be who finishes first and who finishes second. They'll have a list of names, and you can make that bet. And then a quinella bet, which I think is a lot easier to hit. It's still tough, but it's just 2 names, and they can either finish, they just have to finish first or second. It doesn't matter who finishes first, who finishes second. You pick 2 guys. Denny Hamlin, Brad Keselowski would be your quinella bet, and they just have to finish 1, 2. With the exacta, like I said, you got to get the positions right as well. So then one more is matchups. And those are usually standard through all the different books, anywhere from DraftKings to FanDuel, to William Hill, to, I don't know, Barstool Sportsbook and Penn and all that stuff, usually they're pretty similar. So, for instance, you would have Kyle Larson and Denny Hamlin, and that would be the matchup, and you just got to pick who finishes better. Pretty easy. Usually that's a pick 'em right around like 120 for the favorite, plus 120 for the underdog. Fun. And there are with parlays right now, they had them for a little bit, but from what I'm aware of, same game parlays, or I guess same race parlays, if you will, they had them for a little bit. From what I'm aware of, those are no longer being offered. So the way that you can do, I guess, a same game parlay is a matchup parlay. So you're able to pick three matchup winners and parlay them. And if they hit, that would sort of be like a same game parlay. But you can't, again, maybe they'll add it back. I know they had it for a little bit, and then people went crazy winning on this crazy Daytona race. I think that was 2 years ago now, where, you know, there was a huge rain out, everybody crashed, and people hit these $10 or $1 million bets off like $10. And it was just crazy to see. So they kind of got rid of them after that. But with the parlays, yeah, so you can do matchup parlays, and that's kind of like a same game parlay. You can't right now, you know, pick a couple guys to finish top 10 and a guy to finish top 5. That would be awesome. I hope they bring that back because they did have that. They don't anymore. So you could do matchup parlays and then series parlays as well. So basically you could have, you could pick the winner of the Cup race, the winner of the Xfinity Series race, and the winner of the Truck Series race. And obviously, if you were to pick all three of those, it'd be crazy odds. But you could do that as well. So, like I said, if you watch this channel, what we give out is money line picks on the drivers, the team winners as well. We'll do that sometimes. Maybe every now and then I'll give a manufacturer bet. But the other main stuff we do is top 5s, top 10s, and top 3s. And those are kind of the bread and butter of this channel. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of the landscape. I know I went over that quickly, but that's kind of the landscape of how you can bet NASCAR and what we'll be doing this year. Definitely, if you guys have any questions, definitely put it in the comment section below. I'll be happy to answer. Give me a follow on X, Twitter, whatever you call it nowadays, at JOTT_podcast. I place all my bets on there so you can see them, you can keep up with them, and definitely subscribe to our channel. If you're looking to bet on NASCAR with us this season, it's going to be fun. I'm excited. I know we're going to have a great year. We had a great one last year, great one 2 years ago. So I can't wait to get after it. We got the Clash this Sunday night. We got the Daytona 500 on, let me get the exact date because why not? Daytona 500 on February 18th. So that'll be the next thing we do after we bet on the Clash. Clash video will be coming tomorrow. All my betting videos come Tuesdays. Tuesday nights is when I upload those. And the best thing about watching us Tuesday night and then placing your bets, that's before practice, that's before qualifying, which I didn't even mention. You can also bet on qualifying, who's going to win the pole. You can do that as well. But that's before practice and before qualifying. So you're going to get the best odds for the drivers. Obviously, after qualifying and after practice, you get to see who's fast, who looks good. So those odds change. But what we do, and it's crazy that we win so much, to be honest with you. But we bet on Tuesdays. We get the best numbers for these drivers, and maybe things change. Maybe I'll put on my Twitter to add some bets and change things up. But usually we're pretty standard on what I give out on Tuesdays is what we're rolling with on Sundays. So like I said, thanks for watching. Definitely subscribe if you're interested in betting with us, and if you just want to get into the sport. Any questions, put them in the comment section below and give this video a like. It goes a long way for the channel. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.